Hey guys, today's video is a little bit different. We are going to be doing some drugstore first impressions. We are going to do a first impression on a foundation, the LA Girl Pro Matte Foundation, and the very hyped up Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. This is said to be a dupe for the Tarte Shade Tape, so we will test that out. We will test out the foundation. Just a little disclaimer before we get started. I know this foundation is for oily skin, not for people with dry skin. I addressed that a lot through the video, but I just figured I'd say that because you guys know I have pretty dry skin. This is for oily skin, but I have dry skin and it's working pretty well so far. So if you guys want to see me put this on and see my review at the end of the day, then just keep on watching. Alright, so we're just gonna get started. I'll take everything out of this loud bag. So I got two shades of the LA Girl foundation, and this is the LA Girl Pro Matte Foundation. This I believe is new. My Ulta just started carrying like the full LA Girl line, and they actually just redid the entire drugstore section. So yesterday was a big surprise when I went in and there was all this Morphe stuff. They had all the new Makeup Revolution, like it was so much nicer. So anyways, I got the shade Ivory, which is the first shade, and then I got the third shade, which is Beige. The shade that was in between these two is really, really pink looking, and I am more of like a neutral toned person, I think. I always have such a hard time finding my foundation shade. So because I'm going to do drugstore only on my face, I'm not going to prime my face. Also because I want to see just how the foundation works alone, but I am going to spray my face with this Mario Badescu facial spray. You can get this at Ulta. The small one I think is $7, so it pretty much is drugstore. This is just for some moisture since this is a matte foundation. I don't want my face to be really dry. I have like combination dry skin. Sometimes my face is oily, but usually in the winter it's pretty dry, but I always use matte foundations anyways and they turn out fine. I just feel like matte foundations always last longer on the skin and just wear better. So we're gonna do one pump of this Ivory, which is a true ivory, I would say. It's not too pink and it's not yellow, it's just kind of in between. And then I'm gonna do a little pump of Beige. Whoa, Beige is really dark. Much darker than it appears in this bottle, so beware of that. Figured I'd mix the two because Ivory I knew would be too light and Beige would obviously be way too dark. It's still, I would consider this a little too dark for my skin. But, you know, one, it's too late now, and also I'm wearing a turtleneck, so it really doesn't matter. So I'd probably do like a quarter of a pump of Beige. But I love to mix foundation shades because I can never find my perfect shade anyways, so. First I'll try it with a brush. This is just a flat top kabuki I got from Amazon in a set for like $12. So far, very full coverage, I would say. I have a lot of acne scarring, I have freckles, discoloration, all of the above, and it covered them up really nicely. My skin is definitely a little too dry for this foundation because you can kind of see it like flaking up, but the good part of when your skin is kind of dry, I guess, is if you use a sponge, you can kind of fix that. So I'm gonna go back in with this sponge, which is wet. This is a Real Technique sponge. And cover up anything that's still showing through and then see how we're doing. So this foundation is really full coverage. I probably should have zoomed you in. Like everything is covered. I would say this is even more full coverage than my Estee Lauder Doublewear foundation. And that foundation is like plaster for your face, like nothing shows. The only thing is right here that is not covered up. So I'm just gonna take like a really, really tiny amount of both of these foundations. Because if I'm wearing a full coverage foundation, I want everything to be covered. We are going to cover that up. And the foundation like disappears into your skin really, really fast. Like it's a fast drying foundation. It's not liquidy at all. For me, like not everything is covered, but I would rather something show through a little bit, like over here, than put like 400 layers of foundation on. I could try this Makeup Revolution concealer. This is the new one, and conceal and define, and you can also contour with it apparently. This is in shade C4 because it's like one of the only light color shades they had. They had the first shade, which was like C1, and then they had this. So I figured I would try C4 instead of C1 because C1 was like really white. My skin looks very, 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 very dry. So I'm gonna spray some more of this Mario Badescu facial spray. Obviously that's not the fault of the foundation. I have dry skin. So I just put this concealer around my eyes. We're gonna cover my under eyes up, see how that works. A lot of people say this is like the Tarte Shape Tape concealer, and I agree in the packaging that it's very similar, but it is a lot smaller than the Tarte Shape Tape concealer. I wouldn't say it's the same amount of coverage either as the Tarte Shape Tape, just because the Tarte Shape Tape is like so full coverage, seriously. But I do really like this formula. I tried it last night a little bit on my face and it really covered up my redness. I just like put it on my face a little bit. So the Tarte one is 0.38 fluid ounces and this one is 0.11 fluid ounces. Wow. So this is like less than half the amount that comes in here. I'm just adding a little more because I feel like my under eye circles aren't really covered that well. Now because my face is so dry and I feel like this concealer really doesn't crease as bad and it's more of a dry, thinner consistency than the Tarte concealer, I'm just going to set my under eyes with a powder instead of baking. I pretty much always bake my under eyes. I'm just going to use this Rimmel Stay Matte translucent powder on this angled kabuki and just set my under eyes like this. My under eyes will crease, obviously, like in my little wrinkles, but that's kind of inevitable. Like, that's just gonna happen. But I have these little lines right here, just from either dry skin or rubbing my eyes all the time. I just have little wrinkles and like creases right there, and they always set right in there. And I look like 85 years old 3 hours after putting foundation on, basically. So we'll see if that happens with this concealer. I will say that the foundation doesn't really look that great down here. I feel like if I exfoliated a little bit more this morning, it would look better, but my face looks very, very dry. So again, I'm gonna spray some of this spray in my face. And then if I go back in with this sponge, which I sometimes do with foundation, just to kind of press the spray into my face, usually the foundation wouldn't come off. With this, the foundation comes off the second you put the sponge on. Yeah, like everything around this area of my face is showing. So we're just gonna let it dry and I'm gonna stop touching it. Like in no way, shape or form does that look okay. The verdict here is if you have dry skin, you're not gonna like this foundation. I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna add some more to try to fix the issue that's going on down here of the foundation. I don't know where it went. Honestly, I just don't really know where it went. It's gone. But I have to go to class in a little while, so I have to fix this. Because I'm not gonna wash my face and start over. So we're just gonna put more foundation on. Which probably isn't the way to solve the problem, but that's what we're doing. Now I'm not gonna touch it because it looks good right now. It obviously looks a little dry, but I'm not gonna touch it because I like the way it looks. All right, so we're just gonna move into bronzer now. The foundation is obviously set. I feel like it was pretty much set like once I started, but from a distance, the foundation looks really good. When you get up close, you see how dry my skin is. I'm not gonna blame it on the foundation, as I've said, but I'm just saying, for my dry skin gals, either exfoliate a lot before you use it or don't use it at all. But I'm going to show you some tricks in a minute how to make your foundation look a little bit more dewy if you are looking really dry. Now for drugstore highlighter, this has been my favorite drugstore highlighter forever and ever and ever. And it's one of these bricks from Physicians Formula. Now I don't know, I'm pretty sure Physicians Formula still sells this. It's pretty old, but I think they still sell it. But I mix these colors right here. Like I just skip those bottom two browns just because those are a little too dark for me. And first I highlight my brow because it gives that illusion that you have a glow to your skin, that you have some dew happening. So I highlight those places on my eyes. I highlight above my lip. Some people don't like the way this looks. They feel like it looks like snot or something. I don't know. Now this is the ultimate secret to the dew. Spray your face again. And that's the last time we're doing it, I swear. I did that about 500 times in this video. And I kind of wait for it to dry just a little bit so my face isn't like actually soaking wet. But I take my highlighter brush and I go in my little shades up here that I like. So I go and highlight my cheekbones. I do more of a patting motion just because when your face is wet, if you're swiping things around, you're probably going to move your foundation around, which is not what we want. And then obviously on top of that, we need some more glow. So we're gonna highlight our nose. If you don't like your nose, like the tip of your nose, if you feel like it's too big or something, I wouldn't highlight it because it's just going to accentuate it. I highlight above my arch of my brow, so it kind of looks like I have horns. And then I go back in with my damp sponge and press it into the skin. I will say my under eyes are creasing like pretty bad. So my thoughts on this foundation so far are, I really like it. It's really full coverage, just as full coverage as Estee Lauder Double Wear, if not more. You don't need a lot. It like really spreads out and absorbs into the skin fast. It's not too liquidy, but it's also not like a cream. I don't know. It's just like right in between a liquid and a cream foundation. Just the perfect consistency. It's obviously very full coverage. It's obviously matte. I wouldn't say it's so matte that I can't use it. The concealer, on the other hand, I know a lot of people love this concealer, but I'm just saying that it creased like right away. Like it hasn't even been 15 minutes and it's like creased as fuck. Maybe if I baked my under eye, this wouldn't have happened, but that is it for now. I'm going to come back at the end of my day and let you know how things are looking, how things are holding up, and give you the rundown. So I will see you at the end of the day. All right, so I'm back for our final and only update. It is almost 6 o'clock. So my makeup has been on for about 8 hours, which is... So first we'll do the foundation. The foundation held up amazingly. 100 in a million trillion times better than my L'Oreal Pro Glow, but you can't even compare the two because that's a really dewy foundation. But even compared to my Estee Lauder foundation, I would say the Estee Lauder foundation is a little bit less noticeable. I feel like you can't even tell I have foundation on with a double wear, especially at the beginning. But this, you really can't see much either. Now it did come off where my glasses were, but that's inevitable. But other than that, I think my skin looks really good. Some of my natural oils came through, so it actually doesn't look dry around my mouth at all anymore. It really, really, really looks amazing. So I would give the foundation, if I had to rate it out of 10, like a 9. The only reason I wouldn't give it a 10 is just because it kind of like bunched up around my nose area and a little bit like on my smile lines, but nothing bad, and you really can't tell. And if I was to like powder my face or anything, you wouldn't even be able to see that. For the concealer, I have a few issues. I definitely wouldn't say it's an exact dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape because the Tarte Shape Tape for me is very, very invisible. It does crease if I wear it for a really long time or I apply like way too much, but this creased pretty much instantly in my fine lines. All right, so we're pretty close and personal. This creased almost instantly in my fine lines right here, like you can see. So I think for $8, this is a really good concealer, and I feel like if I baked, maybe it wouldn't have creased. So the concealer, I would give like a 7 out of 10. It doesn't get a 10 out of 10 because I love my Tarte Shape Tape and I don't think it's an exact dupe, but it's honestly pretty freaking close. We did have some issues earlier with my skin being like really dry, but again, if you exfoliate and you put some moisturizer on, you're gonna be fine. I just didn't exfoliate that well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this little foundation review and concealer review. I haven't done one of these in a really long time, and I totally miss doing my beauty videos. I love just sitting here and talking about makeup with you guys, so I hope you enjoyed. Give the video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Leave a comment down below if you're going to be trying this foundation out, or if you have any other foundations or concealers you'd like me to try and review, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!